Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Kaba Ilco 1A1D1. This is what Kaba would call an original look-alike Keyblank. This is a brass color, but it's nickel silver. Nickel silver it was once upon a time known as German silver, used in the locksmithing business of building locks at the turn of the 20th century. German silver, nickel silver, is known to be a very durable product used in pins, keyblanks, and other components that would go inside of locks. This versus being a brass keyblank would be very durable. It's just a brass coating over the nickel silver. It would be more durable than brass would be. You would want to know what the construction of your cylinders were. If you had nickel silver pin tumblers, you would certainly want nickel silver keyblanks. You wouldn't want to mix and match those technically, because that nickel silver tumbler would wear down that brass blank. There it is. Really nice looking keyblank. If you're familiar with Best at all, you'll say, yep, that's a Best keyblank. It has the D stamped on the back because that's the keyway we're talking about. Being small format, this will be a tip-stopped key rather than a shoulder-stopped key. It'll stop here. This is capable of being cut 5, 6, or of course 7 pin length. There you go. What else is remarkable about this? 1A1, it's a D keyway. It's nickel silver, and it's a Best interchangeable core keyway. This has been copied and cloned and duplicated by companies like Arrow and Falcon. Let's switch to the screen view now, and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look at some photos that we have. There's the box, the keyblank itself, the backside, D keyway. There's a profile from the opposite of the thumb side of the keyblank, and then from the thumb side of the keyblank. If you're right-handed, you hold that key, that's the side that your thumb will touch, showing that typical D keyway. Now, not much information here to go by. It's just a D keyway keyblank, so there's not too much to tell in this video, except let's show you or point you in the right direction of some resources. There's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. From here you can pull up the Keyblank catalog. And in that, once that Keyblank catalog comes up, we're going to do a Control F for 1A1D1, and we'll be able to get to the page within the catalog where we will find this blank. There it is. So these are the nickel silver blanks in the different keyways. A, B, C, D, Q, R. You get the picture. These are nickel silver. The brass version of this is the A1114D, and I just happen to know that. And there it is. Also in the catalog, right here I mean, this will also show you the different keyways available. You'll note that these are not look-alike keyblanks, whereas the 1A1D1, they would certainly call a look-alike blank because it obviously looks like the original keyblank from Best. Duplication prohibited, the knurling that occurs around there, etc. If it was me, I'd always be using a nickel silver blank. Will certainly be a more durable keyblank, as I had said earlier, but I would also be mindful to not mix and match components within the cylinder itself. Now, you may have noticed there were other matches when I searched 1A1D1. First of all, in the index to page 4B-1, that's the page we were on, 1A1D1, Ilco equivalent, there's a cross-reference. So the look-alike key number is a 1A1D1. The Ilco equivalent, again, is at A1114D. That's handy. will show you back to the page we were on, that 4B section. And then there's a cross-reference. The best part number is 1A1D1, and that translates to a A1114D, except that that's the brass version. The 1A1D1 and a nickel silver, which is the item that we're looking at, does indeed translate to that Ilco 1A1D1. And that's the jet part number that's here. They put an NS at the end for nickel silver. So the point of all of this was to show you where additional resources are tucked in on this Kaba Ilco page. Also on this page, you can review not only all of the Kaba Ilco products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website. Other encyclopedic documents are here as well. Manuals on key machines, other encyclopedic documents, and I'll leave that to you to discover. One link of note would be the brass cylinder price list from 2014. It's an outdated document at this point, but it does allow us to look at the different rim and cylinder, key and knob, lever, deadbolt, cylinder products from Kaba Ilco. Now, there's one other resource I'd like to bring to your attention, and that would be on the bottom of any page, at this time anyway, look for the word manufacturers, then click on that, and then do a find function again, and just type in best. Look for best access. When that page loads, clicking on that page loads, it will load the best manufacturers page within our site. Why is that handy? Well, I'm pointing it out because it's handy in the sense that the A2 System Service Manual is here. So if you want to do an extremely deep dive into small format servicing from Best, here is the original manufacturer's document. Okay? How to service small format. There's also the A2 and A4 systems key system training guide here, which is technically containing everything that you would need to know to pin small format. Quick reference to combinating Best cores. This is actually on the underside of your lid if you have a Best original pin kit. And while I wouldn't be able to do it without knowing the rules, everything you need to know on pinning is technically here. Even how to determine your pin stack is here. You have to know how the formula works. You add 10 to your control cut, you subtract your pin stack, that becomes your control driver, is what it becomes. And it's detailed here, even though it's not, it would not be obvious if you didn't know what the rules were to derive the pins. Okay? We know that there's a bottom, well, just to dive into it, we know that in this system, there's a bottom pin and a master pin. So there are two operating keys that work this cylinder. There's a control key, obviously, that works this cylinder. So we know that the change key or the master key is a 5, and the other key is obviously a 9. So we don't know which. The point of the matter is, we know that we have a pin stack here of 9. I had said earlier that you add 10 to your control cut, and then you subtract your pin stack. Well, x plus 10 minus 9 has to equal 8. So simple math. Again, that's x plus 10 minus 9 has to equal 8. Well, that number is 7. So your control cut has to be a 7 in the control chamber. So we've got a 5 bottom pin, a 4 master pin, a 7 control, and a 6 top, or a driver, and all of those have to equal 23. So the only thing that wasn't obvious here was the control cut plus 10 minus your pin stack. So you have to put it in x plus 10 minus what is grayed here, and that will give you this. Then you take 23 minus this, minus this, minus this, will give you this. That's for A2. A3 and A4 have different rules. Same logic, same algebra, but different logic. Anyway, let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. let's move on to the rest of the video. And while this video is not to serve as a deep dive into the world of small format, it's obviously part and parcel with looking at this Keyblank. It was Frank Best, in fact, who patented the small format interchangeable core platform in 1921, so 100 years ago. I think the patent was granted then. I think he filed it in 1919. And while that patent doesn't have, or is not exactly the platform that we use today, and that patent is on that page, the fundamental concept is absolutely there. And it's interesting because I think Frank Best was clearly influenced by technology that came before him, and in particular, technology from P.F. Corbin with the little ball bearings. And you'll see if you look at that patent, there are small ball bearings there. And the ball bearings, this all ties back to the beginning, helped eliminate wear on the key, because they weren't using nickel silver on the key blanks, but those ball bearings were nickel silver, I believe, from P.F. Corbin, substantially reducing wear. So if you have a door that's getting thousands of uses a month, something's going to wear sooner rather than later. Those ball bearings brought that friction factor way down, because all that ball bearing did was rotate as the key passed through it. Nothing sliding, just turning. And that was a P.F. Corbin thing. And if you look at a 1905 P.F. Corbin catalog, which we have on our website, you're surely going to find those ball bearings. So I'm thinking Frank Best, clearly a brilliant individual, would have been thoroughly versed in the world of who was doing what and when in that time period. So it's interesting how everything so deeply meshes together. And Best is a primary trunk on that tree of life of the world of the history of American locks and locksmithing. Anyway, any questions on the 1A1D1 Kaba Ilco lookalike Best Blank or any other Kaba product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.